Michigan. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? I look a little different. I look like I'm, not homeless. I was basically homeless. They're trying to make me homeless by taking away my MCL 211.7 Bravo and MCL 211.7 Charlie. They're trying their damnness, but we'll see. We'll see on that. I already know the answer to that. The case law is very clear, but never stop your enemies from maliciously persecuting you, know? So, hey, repealed Phantom Ordinance enforcement and fucking with somebody's disabled veteran state tax exemption on the basis that their property is a rental property, even though we require it to be a rental property. And it says owner occupied boarding house, right? Owner occupied, keyword. But I guess because I rent out a room in an owner occupied boarding house that they knew about previously, that somehow is indication that they can take away a state exemption, right? That's sound about right. So that's just simply not the case. That's just not how it works. It's not how it's ever worked. It's not how it ever will work. It's absurd beyond measure. And, it's retaliatory, right? I mean, turned them into the state tax commission. I turned them into the tax tribunal. I petitioned for annexation into Westland. And so, right after that, right after I filed a lawsuit too against them for their illegal sign enforcement, right? They think that the city of Wayne thinks that they have the ability, or no, not the ability, they think they have the jurisdiction to tell you that you can't have your First Amendment, right? You can't politically speak unless you pay them money and they approve it. Well, I'm here to tell you guys that's not how the First Amendment works. That's not how it's ever worked. That's how it'll never work that way. So I took an oath to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That oath does not expire. And so therefore, you guys think you know something here. You guys think you're so clever. And you're not. You're just simply not. You're fucking retards. You're pieces of shit. You're nigger scum. That's what you are. Let's just call it what it is. You're fucking nigger scum, right? You're nigger bitch scum of the earth. And that's just what it is. And you can't accept that you are fucking retards and that you guys don't know what you think you know. You guys think you know so much, but you don't really think your criminality through very well. And so, it's going to be great for you to have to explain in federal district court why it is that you can ignore a codified ordinance, your hazards and nuisance ordinance 12.1, chapter 12.1, that goes into detail about how you guys can abate a so-called hazard or nuisance, which means a tax assessment, right? Which means you have to, give the person notice, no less than, I think it was 30 days or 45 days. And then the city council has to approve that, right? Well, I guess that's just too much work and you guys are too fucking lazy, right? And so I guess you guys, and then of course it only discusses a special tax assessment. Nah, a civil fucking, that's it. That's all that this shit is about, right? Is a tax assessment. And so instead of going through that process, right, that due process, you guys decide, I guess, to just create a memorandum, a non-codified memorandum, a patchwork memorandum called your open burn policy, right? And then I guess that's a substitute for a, lawful codified ordinance. It's not, guys. It's not. And then to make matters worse, your dumbasses, because this open burn policy looks like policy, right? It looks like policy. It's not policy because a policy would imply that it's like codified. It's, actually exists in the law and the charter, which it doesn't. And so you have this old ass patchwork memorandum. And I guess somewhere along the lines, we'll find out when exactly 1278, the ordinance is 1278 and 1278.07, that subordinance. Well, at some point in time, those got repealed, right? Those got repealed. And I guess you just never cared to update your open burn policy, right? Or your policy for controlled fires in the city of Wayne, as it's called, right? And I guess you just never decided that it would be wise or smart, right? Because nothing that you guys do is smart. That's why you're fucking idiots. That's why I exist, right? I exist because you guys made me exist, right? You guys made me exist by your just fucking complete stupidity. And that's why I call you a nigger bitch. That's because that's what you are. I mean, you're literally a piece of shit. I mean, you are literally scumfuck of the earth, and there's absolutely nothing that I can say to exemplify how I feel other than you're just scum nigger bitch of the earth. And you're a piece of shit and you're stupid. You're fucking really mentally deficient, and you don't really think these things through too much, right? So you just send a bunch of goons to the house to enforce abate a nuisance, right? A nuisance, right? And you don't take the proper, the smart thing would have been to like knock on the door, use the pathway around, where the pavers are. That would have, I mean, you still would have been in the wrong, right? Because if you trespass past the front yard, the curtilage, if you trespass under the curtilage, you're in violation anyways. But at least if you would have used the pathways that are clearly designated, at least you would have had a semblance of an argument, right? It wouldn't have been a good argument, but it would have been a argument. But instead of doing that, you guys decided that you're going to fuck with the wrong nigga. That's what you guys decided. You guys said, oh, McFarland over there, he's all bark and no bite, right? He ain't going to do shit. Well, you ran into the wrong nigga, and now you're going to have to pay the consequences for your nigga bullshit. Because that's what it is. It's nigga bullshit. And so anyways, so you send the state agents to my house thinking that I was going to comply with their illegal activity, which I knew it was illegal, right? But never interrupt your enemies from making a mistake, right? If your enemies want to sit there and commit criminality and they want to fucking violate your rights on video in broad daylight, let them do it. Let them do it. Actually, play stupid with them, right? Actually play kind of stupid with them and kind of get, kind of get in their, get in their head a little bit, right? So, they're here under the predication that they have an ordinance, right? Well, they don't. So even if they did have an ordinance, because of how they went about trying to enforce it, it's fruit of the poisonous tree. Because you didn't have permission to come on the property, you didn't have a warrant, and the Constitution, the case law is clear. Absent a warrant, the search or seizure is presumed, right? Presumed to be unconstitutional and unreasonable. And so now the burden of proof is on the state to make their case that it was a valid search, right? That it was reasonable. Well, that's assuming you have an actual enforceable ordinance. But when you have something that's non-codified, something that's phantom, right? A phantom ordinance, right? An ordinance that has since been repealed, right? Wow, that's a whole different matter of fuckery. Now you're talking just like there's no hope that there's probable cause, right? And the fact that the prosecution decided to still press charges, right? They still decided they were going to press charges when there's clearly no probable cause here. And then the prosecution was going to withhold evidence, tamper with evidence, not comply with the discovery order for months, when all that was asked was some simple video discovery. And they just said, nah, we don't got to do that. And then the Register of Actions, conveniently enough, omits all of that discovery request, right? Even though we have the motions and it's supposedly in the transcripts, although we still are waiting on those, right? Which I don't know why it takes months and months and months to get transcripts when even the shithole city of Wayne can get you a transcript in a week. So there's that, right? So we have that minor discrepancy, right? Of course. But, we're not going to connect the dots. We're not going to connect the dots here and say, well, clearly clearly it looks like the court is covering for the prosecution, because why would they omit the discovery request out of the register of actions, right? Why would they do that? And then why would it take almost 5 months, it seems like, just to get a simple video discovery? And then that same judge is going to allow someone to plead to a no contest without ever even having the fucking discovery that was requested? Really? Okay, Brady violations on steroids, abusive process on steroids, malicious prosecution on steroids, intentional infliction of emotional distress on steroids, right? That's what this fucking shit is. And so you just got to beg the question, right? Like, if they're willing to do that against a disabled veteran, someone who's never been in trouble in their life, someone who's a pillar of their community, someone who gives back to their community, right? Because I know people will like to try to call me the racist, right? Because of my persona, right? Well, my question to them is, how many black people live in your house? How many people have you housed? How many people have you given affordable housing to? Just curious, right? Just a quick question, right? How many gay or people of color have you allowed into your house, into your intimate space, right? How many? I'm just curious, right? I'm just curious, right? Do you have a Dominican girlfriend or a wife, excuse me? Do you have children that are biracial? Just wondering, it doesn't mean anything, but it's just kind of funny, like the people that like to call me names, right? Because, oh, he said a word. Well, the words exist because of you, right? They exist because of history. Like, gangster rap doesn't exist. Well, gangster rap doesn't precede the violence that it discusses, right? The content in gangster rap, the reason gangster rap exists is because the content in which gangster rap speaks on exists, right? So it's like, it's one comes before the other, right? It's not gangster rap leads to this, it's that this leads to gangster rap. Gangster rap exists, people like me exist because, well, we see the fucked up shit going on, we see the injustices, we see the manifest injustice. And so we speak to the people, we use our platform and our voice to try to remedy that. And obviously the powers that be don't particularly care for that because, well, let's just be honest. It's not on the agenda, right? It's not on the agenda. So, well, here's what's on the agenda. It's called U.S. It's called U.S. District Court. It's called Circuit Court's on the agenda. It's called Reality Check is on the agenda. That's what it's called, right? You guys thought, oh, you were going to chill my First Amendment speech and you were going to take my vocation from me, try to take my house from me, take my family away from me. You guys legitimately thought that was going to fly, right? Well, you didn't prepare for a guy who I'm going to see next week. You didn't prepare for that guy, right? That guy knows, like, that's the thing, right? People are watching you, right? Like the idea that, well, because I had this happen to me. I had this argument presented to me last time I was at a hearing. Oh, well, just because I have that lawsuit against me doesn't mean anything because we haven't had a hearing date in over a year and a half. And I'm like, well, that doesn't mean shit, sir. That could mean a number of things. Maybe they're watching you. Maybe they're just kind of waiting on you to continue. They're just building up a case against you, right? And does your name mean domestic violence boy wonder? No, it means DV. My name is DeVincent, D-E capital V, I-N-C-E-N-T. So my nickname growing up was DV, all right, for short, because nobody, I guess, apparently is literate enough in this country to say DeVincent. And so, we just shorted it to DV, which is ironic because DV is the abbreviation for disabled veteran, right? So it's kind of like, it's funny how that works, right? Wayne, Michigan, where this whole incident is occurring, that's my father's name, or David Wayne McWhorter. So it's funny. It's just funny how everything works. And it's funny how, it's just the coincidences of life, man. I don't think it's much of a coincidence. I think this was destiny, right? Like I said, there's 4 cases here that are pertinent to this situation, right? There's Mark Blackwell versus, well, let's step back before that. You have the Independent Workplace Assessment of 2018. You have the Mark Blackwell persecution of, God, what was that, 2019? And then you have the Anthony Miller case, Councilman Anthony Miller case. And then you have the murder of John Zook Jr., the veteran, the combat veteran, John Zook Jr. And then you have the persecution of me, right? Well, that's 5 different events, but that's 4 different people. So lucky number 4 for them, right? And, you can't make it up, man. I learned you can't fight the system. Heck, I wouldn't even want to. Yeah, I mean, it takes a special type of person to do it, but like I said, I'm just the type, man. I'm willing to fall on the sword, right? I'm willing to do martyrdom or martyrdom, right? I'm willing to pull the fucking pin on them like a corkscrew, right? Pull the pin on the grenade like a corkscrew. Just like, because see, that's the thing, right? And I want to make sure that this is not taken in any sort of context other than a figure of speech context, right? I'm the type to go and take the grenade and pull the pin and run in and blow the whole shit up, right? And I say that like administratively, right? Like I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to be like kind of like the suicide bomber, if you will. And that's fucking horrifying to crooks and criminals especially local government crooks and criminals. That's just like, oh my God, right? That's the fucking worst thing in the world is to is to have somebody like that just endlessly trying to well, yeah, it's all relative, right? In most people's position, I would agree, Canfield, I would agree in most people's position, it's not worth it, right? In my unique situation, because of my tax exemption, because of kind of just like what I've been through in life, right? I'm kind of built for this. And so for most people, yeah, I would say it's not worth it. But, it's all relative, right? To me, I think it's worth it because I think shutting down bullies, shutting down cucks, telling nigger faggot fucks to go fuck themselves, right? Like that's what they are, right? They're nigger faggot bitch fucks. They're just whatever expletives you want to use, whatever pejorative language of your choosing, that's what they are, right? They're just scum of the earth, and they don't deserve to have power over innocent people, normal good people that just want to pay their taxes and live their fucking lives, right? And they're forced against their fucking will to be parasited, because that's what these local governments are. They're just a parasite. They're just a leech, right? Where they think that they have like an endless funnel to your pocketbook, and that's called property taxes, and that's called tax assessments, and that's called this bullshit and that bullshit. It's just parasitism at the end of the day. And then it's like, okay, well, we're paying all these taxes, and what do we have to show for it? Abso-fucking-lutely nothing, other than some criminal snaggletooth cuck bitches sitting there acting like they know something, right? When they literally don't know anything at all, and they're a waste of fucking space. And so that's where all your money's going, is to support those parasites. And it's not like in other countries, like in the Scandinavian countries, where, yeah, you're paying high taxes, but you have, the highest quality of life in the world. You have the best healthcare. You have the best school systems. Your streets are clean. There's not bums everywhere, right? There's not homeless people everywhere. Well, no. See, that's the thing, man. I don't think these people are that up there, Canfield. I don't think they're America. I think they're more like, if I had to compare it to the way you're describing it, I would say they're like the Virgin Islands, right? No, fuck that. The Virgin Islands are nice. They're not nice. They're like a rinky-dink little county, right? Who just thinks they have more power than they do, and they don't, right? I mean, it's not David versus Goliath here. I mean, it kind of is, but I would say that it's more, is it an equal playing field? Maybe not, but I actually feel like I feel like that I actually have the the advantage here. And because like they haven't been through war, I have, right? And so it's a little bit different for me when, I've been through the shit, I've been through the struggle. Yeah, like a peasant going against the king. Yeah, but I'm not a peasant though, right? See, I'm more like kind of like a mercenary of sorts, and they're definitely not kings. They're jokers, is what they are, right? They're they're just illegitimate, right? I mean, they're not structured well. They don't think well, right? They don't think things through, and it's very easy to point out their flaws, right? And so it's very easy to point out their flaws, and their flaws are what get them caught up, right? Because they want to be evil and try to persecute people, but they don't think it through very well, right? They're very impetuous in the sense that, or capricious. They're very capricious, where they just kind of do things on a whim, right? And yeah, they can do whatever they want for a while. They can get away with it for a while, but shit catches up to you, man. Shit catches up to you, and eventually, you got to pay the piper, right? And eventually you're going to have to put down the crack pipe, and eventually you're going to have to accept reality that you're an addict, that you're an addict of, stealing property taxes from people, stealing people's money. It's an addiction, right? It's a power addiction, right? It's like, and then, here I am, right? I'm like the drug rehab counselor, right? I just come in and I take the crack pipe out of their fucking hand and I say, that's it for you. Time for you to go to rehab. I'm the one that gives the intervention, right? And that's all this is. This is just a citywide intervention, right? And this is just to say, like, we're tired of the fucking exorbitant property taxes. We're tired of having our fucking basic property rights and our civil rights being trampled on. And we're just tired of the unreasonableness of it, right? We're tired of people that have nothing better to do, that think just because they exist that they're important, and just because they exist they have some authority. It's like, no, you're a piece of shit. You're a public servant. Okay, you're literally a fucking nigger bitch scum of the earth. You're my bitch, right? That's what a servant is. You're my bitch. So in that particular context, you should be out, kissing my ass, right? That's, and that's only if I ask it, right? That's all that the government should be doing, is kissing taxpayers' asses, right? And staying the fuck out of their business and getting the fuck out of the way. Oh yeah, no, I know that. I know what I'm up against. Yeah, they have zero consequences. That's why they are so bold. That's true, right? They have consequences, or they have zero consequences usually in the short term. But in this particular case, because we're dealing with really, really, really fucking stupid people, the groundwork has kind of already been done for me, right? So Mark Blackwell versus Lisa Nocerini, that case, Mark Blackwell won, and he got the officer's qualified immunity revoked, and he won a nice little lawsuit settlement, and it's on the record, right? It's on the record that they did what they did, and it's a fact. It's a fact. So now it's like a criminal history, right? You know how like they try to have a criminal history against you, they try to use it against you. Well, now you do the same thing for them. You use their criminal history against them, and you go, oh well, you just maliciously prosecuted a critic of yours just recently, and then you appealed the lawsuit frivolously and you lost, and then you appealed the decision again and then you lost again. And now Wayne County Circuit Court, Wayne County's imposing sanctions, or has imposed sanctions, or will impose sanctions, or whatever. And so now that kind of sets the precedent, right? And then the murder of John Zook Jr., a disabled veteran who was going through a mental health crisis. Well, you see, the thing is here, guys, is like that's all going to be used against them. And so now it's like, hey, not only do you have issue with people that are your, critics, right? You maliciously prosecute your critics, but you also, murder and you execute disabled veterans in their own house, right? They will act like that never happened. Yeah, they can try that, but unfortunately, there's this thing called a transcript, and there's a record of it, right? And so, you just read verbatim the judge's own words. You just use their word. You use the judge's words against them, right? Is all it is, right? And you start developing a pattern of misconduct, and then of course you just let the jury decide. You just let normal everyday people decide, right? That's it. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna say it's not an uphill battle, and there's not gonna be some fuckery. There's been plenty of fuckery, but yeah, I mean, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I don't know what that means, Daniel Britton. Are you British? Because I'm British mostly. Um, oh, the kangaroo guy. Yeah, I mean that's what we should be doing. I mean, I'm more of like a clown, right? I'm gonna dress up like a killer clown, and then I got some ideas. But yeah, they don't want me to be their little shit stain on their operation there. So this is what all this is about. It's about my property, because I own the most expensive property in the city of Wayne, the biggest property by land size, and it's the best property. It's the most unique property, and I vaguely know who you're talking about. I think I do, but I don't know for certain. So if you want to like send me something so I know, it'd be nice to know for sure. But I'll look it up. But I've heard something about that, and his name starts with an L. Yeah, I'm not sure. Please keep up the good fight. Thank you, Benny. Yeah, we're doing everything we can, man. Everything that we can. I mean, we can always be doing more, and we're gonna be doing more here soon. But we're not. I had to get right, man. I mean, this shit, it'll weigh on anybody, right? And I'm not gonna lie, it did weigh on me quite heavily over the past few days, but I'm doing better. I'm doing better, and I'm more stable with it. It's just when you uncover the level of corruption that I uncovered, it really is, and you basically have had to spend months in solitary confinement because of a repealed Phantom Ordinance enforcement, and because of Brady violations, right? Not disclosing or giving the discovery evidence that is requested, right? The video evidence in particular, so that way you can keep like that off the record, right? You can keep that suppressed, right? So then you can rely upon false testimony, right? You can rely upon some bullshit police reports that are littered with inaccuracies, right? They are littered with fucking bullshit. They're littered with bullshit, and they're littered with contradictory lies. And the first guy's talking about, oh yeah, take your pool out, or take your water source and put that out. But then the next dumbass is saying, well, I didn't observe any water source, and it's like, okay, so I don't even see how that, even if you're just basing the probable cause just on those narrated fucking reports, they're not even written well, and they're written so poorly that I don't see how there's any probable cause whatsoever for any of this. And I know there's not any probable cause for any of it. I mean, that's fucking, it goes without saying, man. I mean, their tactics are clear as day. Well, I mean, see, the thing is like, some people are good at lying, right? Like, or decent at lying. They're horrible at lying. They can't even lie correctly. It's like they're malicious and they're fucking incompetent, both at the same time. And, they're the higher ups, the officials, they put these people in the worst possible fucking positions, right? Like, I mean, talk about setting people up for failure, right? I mean, you're going to send somebody to somebody's house to abate a nuisance, and you're going to use well, yeah, they don't care, but they do. See, the individual officers care, right? The individual people, the lower people on the totem pole, they care because it's their future. It's their future on the line, and they care. They very much care. They might not act like they care, but it's all really just it's all really just a game of poker, man. I mean, they're just they're not used to dealing with people that don't back down, right? Most people, when they apply the pressure on them a little bit, why don't they write better statements? I don't know. I mean, I think they're just retarded. I really don't know, because like they don't even lie good, and they don't even like have a coherent, you know, well structured, like it's littered with errors, right? Like it's like, okay, well, this contradicts this statement. So, you know, anyone that has any sort of good faith about them would look at it and go, wow, well, this obviously can't be relied upon because there's clearly some discrepancies here. So we're going to need to see more, right? And then, of course, you know, we've been trying to compel discovery for many months now. And I was pro se as well. So because I'm pro se, I'm it's required that I get the discovery that's supposed to be compelled, right? And or was compelled. And the fact that I haven't received, as my own lawyer, right? As me being my own lawyer and my own, you know, I'm my own lawyer. Um, it's remarkable. It's remarkable. And then it's more remarkable when you look at the register of actions. Yeah, well, that's what it is, right? They just, I guess, like, well, most of the time, right? There's some I don't know. There's some plausibility to their statements, right? And so usually, good, or I would say, police departments that are better at lying than others, right? The ones that are better at it, they will at least make it plausible, and they'll at least have a coherent state, or they'll have a coherent narrative, right? It'll be a lie, but at least it'll be like a kind of more of a believable lie. It's structured well. But I don't know. I really don't. I really truly don't understand it. It's just incompetence, and it's just laziness, and it's just fucking. It's almost like they don't feel like they have to try or something. Like, you know, I don't know, which is amazing because of, like, you know, the lawsuits that they've lost, and it's just setting them up like for the precedent, right? It's just setting them up in the long term, right? John Zook Jr. lawsuit, they're gonna get fucking destroyed on that. They're gonna get destroyed on that, for what they did. And then, you know, they're going to get destroyed again on this, because it's just, you know, it all stacks on top of each other. But you're not dealing with a typical evil government here. You're not dealing with typical evil. You're dealing with malicious and stupid evil, right? You're dealing with kind of like stupid, malicious, vindictive, sinister even. But it's not well thought out stuff, right? It's not like they really put a lot of thought into it. It's just kind of like, it's really what it is. It's capricious, and it's just it's kind of like spur of the moment, right? You know, they don't like the fact that you're saying a certain thing. Maybe you said something on Facebook or YouTube, you know, that you know, you told someone to suck your dick. You told Al Haynes he's a piece of shit. You know, the former mayor of Wayne, the former Wayne County Drain Commissioner, who left the Hunter Drain a complete fucking pigsty, right? So I call him out on his nigger bullshit, and I tell him, yeah, you're a piece of shit. I can't wait until Allah sends you to hell to rot and piss. And you're a fake Muslim phony fuck is what you are. You're not a real Muslim, dude. A real Muslim wouldn't conduct themselves in the way you are. A real Muslim is glued to the truth, right? They're glued to justice, right? They're not glued to fucking you know, just this bullshit politics, right? You become the mayor, and then while you're the mayor, you build you a nice little house on Glenwood Road right down the street from me. And then, you know, you pass out a few backpacks to some, you know, needy kids, right? And then you go work for the Drain Commission, and then you do absolutely nothing as the Drain Commissioner. You do absolutely nothing for any of the drains in Wayne County. And, you know, the Hunter Drain, which is conveniently in the city in which you used to be the mayor of, you know, Al Haynes, and you were the Drain Commissioner. It's just awfully weird that, and this is in your own neighborhood. This is a drain that, you know, I mean, it literally passes through Glenwood Road, right? The road in which you live on. And you can't even make sure that that fucking drain is proper, right? Is maintained, right? And it's just fucking incredible. It's just fucking incredible. And so I'm the bad guy for pointing out it, you know. And it's like, hey, if I got to be the bad guy, blame me, right? If I got to be the bad guy because I'm tired of incompetent pieces of shit that get paid an exorbitant amount of money, that rip people off and fraud people, and then you still can't even Hey, Scooberman, you were talking to a phone. Put it down. Put what down? What do you want me to put down? The phone? Well, what do you want? What are you saying? I should get a tripod or what? I mean, I don't have a third leg, so that's can't grow. I can't grow a third leg, but yeah, Jeffrey Dahmer. I don't know. I don't know if Jeffrey Dahmer wore Versace or not. I'm not sure if he did. I'd have to look into that. But I'm Versace Vince. I'm Versace Vince. I don't know Jeffrey Dahmer. That's like some guy that used to eat black people mostly, because I think most of his victims were black dudes, and or there was like a Filipino guy. That's how he ended up getting caught. What are your thoughts on 9/11? I mean, inside job. Clearly a cover up. Clearly, gay black guys. Yes, yeah, that's funny. Yeah, that's what it was, if I remember correctly. I'm not. I'm not. It's been a while since I've kept up on my Wayne, Michigan. Wayne, Michigan. That's where I'm at. City of Wayne, or that's where I'm referencing. But we're in Montucky, Michigan, Montcalm County, Michigan, right now. Gay black guys. Yes, that's funny. What are your thoughts on 9/11? Yeah, inside job. Clearly a cover up. I mean, I don't know what do they call it? False flag. I mean, it's disgusting, man. 9/11 is really the beginning of all of this bullshit, all of this tyranny that we have now, and all of these warrantless searches and seizures, the Patriot Act, all that bullshit. That kind of set the precedent for where we are today, No, Gary Ridgway was like the OG serial killer. He was like, that dude was fucking like ruthless, man. I mean, as far as like the number of bodies he racked up. Ted Bundy is probably the most infamous. I think Ted Bundy is probably the most savage. Yeah, Chelsea, Michigan. Yeah, that's a nice place. That's a nice place. I've been there a few times. Sorry, I just had to say, no, don't be sorry. Don't be sorry. But yeah, I think Ted Bundy, I mean, as far as serial killers go, Ted Bundy's is obviously an evil, wicked piece of shit, but in an alternative universe, Ted Bundy would have probably been like a senator or the president. That dude was really, really unique guy, and really smart guy. And it's unfortunate what he decided to do, but yeah, I mean, he literally went into a sorority house and like fucking just bludgeoned a sorority house with a bedpost, and then shoved the bedpost up the woman's pussy, right? I think she survived it, which is even more fucked up. Like, imagine getting your head smashed in with a bedpost, and then it gets shoved up your pussy. Like, I mean, you're talking just like, holy fucking shit, dude. Holy fucking shit, right? You talk about the savageness of that. First time here. What's your channel about? Basically, my run for mayor of Wayne, Michigan, and constitutional auditing, holding governments accountable, right? Governments accountable for their misdeeds, right? I mean, that's fundamentally what it is. We're going to be doing some other things with nature and whatnot, different things with wildlife conservation, probably some music, political activism and whatnot. But, right now we're just kind of limited on what we can do because of all this bullshit, this gag order and these punitive bond measures, right, that don't serve any compelling interest to the public, right? It's just complete horseshit. And they're not even legit bond conditions, right? Because they're predicated on something that doesn't even have probable cause. And yeah, it's quite a lot of violations, and it's going to be really nice for appellate court, and it's going to be nice to go to U.S. District Court, right? It's going to be really nice. So, but hey, that's their own doing. That's their prerogative. They decide that they want to, engage in that type of buffoonery, well, you can pay the piper, right? I'm going to hold your feet to the fire, no pun intended, of course. But where there's smoke, there's fire, right? So we're going to continue to investigate the source of that smoke. We're going to continue to investigate it. And we're going to figure out exactly the timeline and the chain of custody and, the whole story, right? I mean, we got good people that are working on this, and we have good people that are monitoring the shitty of Shane very closely. And, they don't like it when the pressure's on them, when the spotlight's on them, when all of their evil deeds are to be scrutinized by the public, right? They don't care for that. So, I mean, basically, I mean, what's my channel about? It's about a disabled veteran who moved into a community and didn't really realize how corrupt it was, and how much, recent, well, I mean, not just recent history, but lots of just, I mean, I would say going back 40 or 50 years of just vile corruption, cover-ups, murders, persecutions, but now they're getting sloppy. I guess when I came in, I just started noticing. I noticed sloppy fucking shit, right? And I'm a pattern recognition expert. I got a master's degree in psychology, organizational psychology. And I have dyslexia and ADHD, and a touch of the Asperger's, and a touch of the autisms, if you will. And I just notice things. I just notice trends and patterns that other people maybe don't. And I'm the guy that's willing to, call you out on your bullshit in real time. And I'm the one that'll pull the fucking, I'll pull the plug out on you like a corkscrew, man. I will fucking pull it out from under you just like that, man. And I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. And, the truth will set us free. And I know this is what God put me on earth to do. So I'm going to do what God trained me to do best, and what God gave me the ability to do, which is to sniff out nigger bullshit, and to sniff out fucking, what I see as an affront on our constitutional rights, right? Because whether if you're white or black or green or yellow or brown or fucking pink, we all want freedom. We all want the same thing, to be able to do and say as we please. And especially when you're on your own property, right? I mean, that's kind of like the most fundamental basic, that's the most basic liberty we have, is property rights. And when that's being infringed upon and being mocked, I take offense to it. And I feel it's my civic obligation to kind of walk through that hellfire, right, for you, right? So that way, hopefully, this becomes case law, and we won't have to, continue to be subjected to this level of tyranny. Maybe, just maybe, other police departments and other municipalities will see this case and they will go, yeah, hopefully we can set a precedent to where that type of shit is, again, frowned upon. Because at one point in our country's history, it still is frowned upon by the public at large. But at one point in our nation's history, it was really frowned upon, and most governments wouldn't even choose to even consider engaging in such conduct, because it's just egregious, and people aren't going to put up with it. But we live in different times now, and so therefore, different times call for different measures, I guess, if you will. And so I'm going to put the Jeffrey Dahmer glasses back on. And I have some shit I got to take care of. Luckily, my officer was very nice to allow me to go get food so I don't fucking starve to death. So I appreciate that. I appreciate not having to go without food. It's one of my, it's part of, what's it? Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I think food and shelter is right there on the top of it. So anyways, guys, I think that's long enough. I think, I appreciate the engagement. Gay black guys, that's fucking hilarious. Just the way that was said. Man. Love you guys. Talk later. Take care. Stay safe. Watch your six. Don't get Charlie Kirked. Don't get Charlie Kirked. R.I.P. to Charlie Kirk.